Hi, Jeff and Caroline. It's morning here, so but it's like let's see, you're in Louisiana, so you're in Central Time, so it's still technically morning. You're what 2 hours behind now because of the time change. Okay, so well, good morning. I find it interesting that not only do you not allow my video responses to post, but you delete my comments. That's a good way to win the argument, Jeff. Delete the comment so it appears as if you got in the last word and I had nothing to say. I'm losing respect for you by the day. Actually, at a faster rate than that. What a miserable little hypocrite you are. Oh my. I'm feeling better today. Drinking coffee. This was kind of weighing on me, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go back to writing. But I felt like I had to respond. See, because, and I know that you're not going to allow this one to post either. Chances are you're not going to allow this one to post. I'll be surprised if you allow this one to post. Just because you're more interested in seeming right than actually being right. Accusing me of not willing to do my research. Is that possibly a slam on the fact that I teach? Could it be? Are you attempting, a little bit of wit there? Are you? I wish I could say I was impressed, but I'm not, because it's pathetic, because you still deleted my comments, so it still looks like you got the last word in, which you didn't. But that's okay, because, you feel better about your little corner of the world. However, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. And understand, I have no intention of attempting to change your mind. That's not why I do these. I certainly don't believe that people of extreme opinion will ever get their minds changed. That is not my intention. My intention is to demonstrate how ridiculous you are. And I'm going to continue to do that until I get bored with it. Or until something more interesting comes up. So you have that to hope for. But I had some more thoughts on this whole divine war. God is on America's side. And so I will give you, and I want to say this, I'll give you this. It is possible that the war in Iraq is divinely, is divine. That is, that God supports the war, that God supports us. But in order for you to say that, in order for me to posit that, we must accept that God is a sadist. God enjoys inflicting pain on people, enjoys wherever it is heaven is, he enjoys looking down and seeing people suffer, and whatever his grand design happens to be. So sure, and because there's nothing loving about the God that you preach. There's no inner peace in the God that you preach. All you preach is insecurity and fear, and never being good enough. That's the God that you preach. A sadistic fucker like you. So, if that's the case, then sure, it's a divine war. And sure, I'm sure there's something in the Bible that backs that up. And I'm sure when you talk about me not doing my research, you're referring to all the Old Testament precedents. Because I know you think that I actually haven't read the Bible 1,000 times or more. But I have. There's all kinds of Old Testament precedents where it talks about, God using war towards divine ends. And then, of course, there's the revelation. The revelation. It's not revelations. It's the revelation. There is the revelation where you have John on this island by himself, imagining Armageddon. And the Whore of Babylon and the eagle and the bear. And keep in mind that I have heard so many interpretations of the revelation. So many. For a while, It was the eagle and the bear, and that was supposed to be the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Well, then the Soviet Union crumbled. Not necessarily because they were communists, because they weren't. They were socialists, but because they were corrupt. Their economics had a little bit to do with it, but it had more to do with the fact that like all large political systems, the people at the top were corrupt. So after that, then that particular interpretation sort of disappeared, and all those people, those soothsayers and those naysayers and those so-called prophets, those television prophets who were preaching the end of the world, they sort of went away. And then with the coming of the 21st century, they started to kick into high gear because it's the year 2000, the world's going to end in the year 2000, and they have all these biblical precedents to talk about why it's so. Forgetting, of course, the one biblical tenet about the coming of the end of the age, if you believe in that sort of thing. What is it? The God will come like a thief in the night that no one will know. All these people think they got a clue. Yeah. You want to know why I have issues with the way you sling Bible verses around? That's why. Because at the heart of your sort of ministry, I really hate to call it that, because that's not what you're doing. You're not talking about anything other than fear. And I've watched several of your videos, and you have these very folksy, that God is God, and you have to let go and let God, and all these nice little folksy sayings. And I'm sure that's very appealing to people. You're very articulate in a sense. But just saying that there is biblical precedence does not mean that there is biblical precedence. You've got nothing to work with unless your God is a sadistic fuck like you. Is he? Well, if he is, then I've got this all wrong. I don't know what the fuck I'd do then. I don't know. It's these deep philosophical questions that keep me up at night. I'm pretty comfortable with my worldview. I think that the people have a right to a good life. People have a right to be healthy and to have an education and to have the ability to get a job that will satisfy them and make them happy. I believe in those things. I believe those things are not privileges. Those things are rights. And I believe that we're obligated, since we are part of a society, that we are obligated to take care of one another and to help one another. Now, I think that life would be much better if we didn't have a government telling us what to do. But I also realize that most people are not prepared to live in a world like that. Because most people think now, the government doesn't impact my life, but the government impacts our lives in so many ways. And without a government, we would have much more responsibility that many people are not prepared for, because we are not educated enough, we are not critical enough, and we are, because our consumer culture makes us this way, we are always looking out for ourselves. Now, that's sort of a condensed version. I think of myself as a good person. Maybe not a nice person. I'm probably not a nice person at all, but I am at least a good person. And I'm a good person without having to claim an allegiance with a sadistic, dark Godhead like you do. Because if this war is divine, Jeff and Caroline, then God is surely a sadist. I'm waiting for an actual response. Have a good day.